The moment that you need somebody else to tell you whether or not you're playing well or you're playing okay is the moment you've handed them control of your own confidence. And it doesn't have to be you directly asking them questions like,
am I playing well? Is this good enough for you?
But it could also be things like when you make a mistake, are you looking at your coach of whether or not they're mad? And are you thinking about what your teammates are thinking of you? Are you thinking about what the crowd is thinking of you? Or if your parents are disappointed in you or not? Does your confidence depend on compliments? Do you only build up your worth if you get complimented on a game or a match or a race or whatever it is in your sport? And do you also always compare your stats to other people? Are you trying to validate yourself and thinking you're a good player if you have better stats than your teammate or the opponent? Do other people's opinions determine whether or not you find yourself to be a good player and you find yourself to have confidence? What's up, you guys? My name is Coach Jojo Allred. I'm a mindset coach for athletes, and I help you build confidence, consistency, and trust in your sport. I also help you keep that confidence, and I help you be consistent every single game and match and race or whatever it is in your sport. And I make you trust yourself even through hard times, even when you feel negative, because we are going to feel negative in our sport, and I help you get through that. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to play without validation. Validation is something that athletes crave. It is something that we want. It is something that makes us feel valuable, and it 100% is valid. It 100% makes sense that you do that. When we played a sport when we were very young, we would get praised for, getting MVP or even just trying out for a team, even making a basket, making a goal, whatever it is in your sport, doing little things we got praised for. And over time, we start to love it. We start to crave it. Of course, we want compliments. Every human being wants compliments. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel valued. It makes us feel liked. We want to be liked in life. And sports give us that. When you're working really hard in something and you get a good result out of it, people respect you. And when people respect you, they like you. And so it all just goes hand in hand. I think that wanting validation in life is one issue, and then wanting it in when you're being an athlete is another issue, but they go hand in hand. We grow up thinking, if athletes, right? Not just everybody. Athletes grow up thinking, if people approve of me, if the people in the crowd approve of me, and my coaches approve of me, and my teammates approve of me, then I'm valuable. I asked a lot of questions at the beginning of this video, and if you're still here, you're probably somebody where I asked that question and it resonated with you, and you're like, okay, I need to fix that. Like, that is something she commented about that. She made a question about it, and like, is she here to solve it? And I am here to solve that. I'm here to solve when you make a mistake and you're thinking about what your coach is thinking of you, or you're thinking about what the crowd is thinking of you, whether or not your parents are disappointed in you, whether or not like you're thinking so far in the future, you're thinking about if your parents are going to yell at you after the game, or if your coach is not going to play you next game. Like, all of these thoughts start going through your head because you don't feel worthy enough. You feel like if you make one mistake, you don't have enough value in order to keep playing the game that you need to. And also the game that you should play like yourself. I said that really weirdly. You should play the game that you want to with the abilities that you have, and you should be able to play like yourself. And the moment that you think other people are judging you in a bad way, then that's the moment that you're going to not feel confident and you're not going to trust yourself, because you're seeking validation of the opinions of others. And that's not good. You should always, what I want you guys to get to is being okay with the opinion of yourself, to understand yourself and understand your game and your competition enough that you don't need validation from other people. I remember when I lacked so much freaking confidence. If I made one mistake, I was like, yeah, I deserve to be on the bench right now. I deserve to get pulled. That's what I would say, because that's what I felt was worthy of me, because that's what other people thought of me, or that's what I thought other people thought of me. When I gained my confidence back and I made a mistake, I was like, I literally had so much confidence and so much trust in myself that I can make a mistake. And I knew that like I validated my mistake, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm a human being, and I'm gonna make up for it. Like, I'm going to keep being the player that I'm going to be. And I know that everybody else in the crowd trusts me. They know that I'm human. I literally got to a point where I validated myself so much that it made my perception of other people be thought in a positive way. When you trust yourself you trust other people. It's the same thing with if you love yourself, you could love other people. Whenever you fix this issue right here in this mind right here and in this body, when you fix this and you give yourself so much love and so much care and so much validation and trust, you could give it off to other people and you could believe the best in other people. Now, don't you notice that whenever you're messing up and you're thinking about how embarrassing that was, isn't it fucking exhausting? Isn't it so freaking tiring to just like it's mentally exhausting? Like you wonder why you're so mentally exhausted all of the time, and it's because you're always your mind's always on. You're always overthinking everything. You're always putting pressure on yourself about the opinions of others. Like you're always thinking about what other people are thinking of you, and that's so fucking tiring. It's just a constant state of anxiety. It's a constant state of needing to be good enough instead of just finding that inner worth. And if you find inner worth, you're gonna find inner peace. So now I've talked a little bit about what validation is and why you do it and why all of these factors are so damaging to you. But how do you solve it? How do you fix it? How do you get out of this mindset where you feel secure in yourself? I need to be quoted on this because at this point it's my quote now, and I know other people say it. I know for a fact other people say it, but I say it so much, I'm like, I adopted it, so it's my saying now. You cannot control what other people do, think, or say, or react. You can only control how you think, say, speak, talk, react, and feel. Of course, the one time where I'm like, this is my quote, and then I mess up all of the wording to it. We need to understand this concept so much more because we think that by overthinking everything, we're in some sort of control. But the problem with that is that you literally cannot control what other people are going to think. You could actually literally do something good in a game or a match in front of people, and they could still be like, oh, that was still a bad play. Like, there are some crazy people out here, okay? And you can't just trust everything that people think about. Like, you can't believe what they think. Like, you have to believe what you think is good and what you think is worthy and what makes you happy. That's the beliefs that we have to go off of, or that's how we have to build our beliefs, is doing what makes us happy. And that's just understanding your mind, and that might take a while to get to know yourself and to understand what you like to do, what makes you happy. But over time, that's what's going to make us feel secure and confident. What makes me fucking happy? But here's the thing. What I'm saying about how you can't control other people, and I don't know if you're like resisting what I'm saying, like, oh yeah, I could control other people. You cannot. So let's say, for example, that you do make a mistake and you so badly want to control what your coach is thinking. So maybe in the next play, you try to make up for the last mistake and you try to be the best player out there so that you don't get benched. But the thing is that you are making things worse because now you're overcompensating for the play that you're trying to make, and you're not being yourself and you're overthinking. You're playing scared now because you don't want to mess up. So you're a completely different player right now when you do that. 2, you could not stop your coach from thinking what he's going to think. He could be fucking crazy. And this is why coaches are so, they could be so detrimental and damaging to us because they could be in the wrong so much. Like, they're human too. They make mistakes too. And you have to be okay that they're going to make a mistake. Maybe you do deserve to be playing and you do deserve to be out there. You are better than somebody else on your team, but they don't see that. And that's their issue. And you can't control that. Like, you cannot control what they think and the reactions that they have and the actions that they do. You have to control your own emotions and how you're going to react. And you have to control that because that's literally the only thing that we could control. When we could master this, when we can master knowing that we have to control our own emotions, it's going to put us at ease, and it's actually going to get rid of all of the anxiety thoughts and all of the stressful thoughts in our head. Because now let's say that I do make a mistake and I'm like, okay, coach is going to do what he's going to do. I have to keep doing me. I have to believe that I know I'm a good player and that I don't need validation from anybody else, and that I'm going to stay in here and I'm going to stay with me. I have to trust myself enough to know that I'm going to be okay when I do mess up, and that I'm going to be okay if coach does pull me. I have to react well. Who is the person that you want to be? When you make a mistake, Do you want to drop your head and coach takes you out and you drop your head and you sulk and you don't give your teammates high fives? Do you want to be perceived like that? Like, absolutely not. You do not want to have bad body language. You don't want to be selfish and not be a good teammate. You don't want to be selfish in general, right? You don't want to make the energy of the whole entire gym, on the field, on the track, you don't want that energy to be going down because of you. It is so hard to react well when something bad happens to us, and to be mature and to step up and to get taken out of the game because you made a mistake, and to be like, you know what? I'm going to control my emotions. I'm going to still be happy. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to come out. I think the decision that my coach made is fucking stupid, but I'm going to make sure that I'm happy and that I'm calm and that I don't start thinking all these thoughts. Because if I start thinking in such an anxious way and I start to overthink and I start to put all this pressure on myself, I'm going to be fucking miserable. I'm going to start overthinking everything I am as a player, and that's how you lose your confidence. You lose your confidence over time by allowing all of these messy thoughts to get messy, to get really negative. But if you're able, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to sit here and be like,
It's so easy to just like get taken out of a game by a coach and to be positive and whatever.
it's going to be fucking hard. Like, you're not going to want to do it. And that's what I had to do all the time. I was the person who strived to be a leader. And I am a person who's very selfless. And I want to make sure that other people feel good. And I never want them to feel bad because of me. The coach is already making people feel bad. The crowd is already making people feel bad. You know what I mean? Like, don't be the extra weight that people have to think about, and people have to like make sure. Don't be the person where people have to make sure that you're okay, because that person sucks. I'm sorry, but like, that person just sucks. When you're sulking all the time and you're being negative and you just want attention, you don't want to be friends with that person. You don't want to interact with that person. It's exhausting to interact with those types of people. And not only that, if you are that type of person, do you realize how exhausting it is to be that person? Like, it sucks. You're living in a world of just like being miserable, and it shows too, and it really affects the energy of everything. It affects the energy of yourself, it affects the energy of other people, and when you affect the energy of other people, it affects right back on you. It's a whole cycle, and it works in a cycle. But let's say that you come off and you go to the bench and you're like, all right, let's go. Then you have like great body language. You're gonna notice that you're not gonna spiral. And if you don't spiral, if you're going and you're high-fiving people and you're being positive, you're still cheering, first off, I guarantee a coach is going to notice that, and they're going to put you back in the game or the match. I mean, I don't know. There's circumstances to coaches, right? I've had every coach out there, but I know that good things happen when you're being a good person and you're actually genuinely being a good person. You're not gonna get good results if you're fake being a good person. And to be honest, maybe sometimes and for a while, you're gonna have to pretend having good body language when you don't want to. But over time, if you keep doing those things and letting yourself know that you could be in control of your own emotions and you're going to feel good no matter what, it's just going to ripple back on you in a good way. Now, that kind of got off the topic of playing without validation, but at the same time, it doesn't, because I'm talking about taking control of yourself and taking control of your actions, and just like telling you how to make sure that you feel confident in yourself. And the only way that you're going to feel confident in yourself is to sometimes fake it till you make it, and to make sure that you control your emotions to the point where you don't spiral. It is not acceptable for you to have other people control you. That is pathetic. And I don't mean pathetic in it's such a bad and tough love way. I just am saying that, like, do not be living here for somebody else. You are not on this earth. You are not the athlete that you are to live for somebody else. Can you become somebody that knows you gave your everything, your all, and you could still be okay when you don't get complimented? Can you still be okay if nobody says, good job, you're working really hard, and if nobody notices you? Can you still become such a secure and confident person and the player that you want to be without all of the glory? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. And I think that that's being an athlete. I think that you can't just play in a game and expect to play really well. You have to work outside of the media. You have to work outside of the crowd. You have to put in the work when nobody's looking. You physically do all the work in your sport, but it's also a mental thing. You have to be able to practice your mental side when nobody's looking. Are you like, for me, like I did visualizations and nobody knew I was doing visualizations, and it's for yourself. Never do something for somebody else. I'm writing in my journal every night for me. It's not to show everybody,
oh, I've been journaling and I've been working so hard in all this. And, I get a bunch of shots up in the gym.
like it should be for you, and you're losing the plot if you're doing it for somebody else and you're just doing it to show, oh, I went to the gym today. And one of my pet peeves, and I'm sorry if you do this, I'm pretty sure 90% of the population does this, but like my pet peeve is when somebody in a sport goes to the gym and, they don't normally go to the gym, and then they post on their Snapchat story or their Instagram story, that they're at the gym and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I go to the gym too. Like we all go to the gym and we all get our work in, but I just don't show it. And I think that maybe I got mad too because I was like, I am not getting praised for what I do too. Like these people that post about it, they want to get praised, they want to get complimented, and I get that that's the whole point of that. So I think that's the reason why I got mad, is that like I want to be complimented, I want to be praised, I want validation, and that just goes to show of me understanding myself more. I mean, it's not a problem for me now because I'm not an athlete anymore, but I just learned right now that that's how I used to feel when I was an athlete, and it's because I was so internal and I was so, thinking about what other people think. I never really am the type of person that's going to go out of my way to get attention for myself. But the thing is that I do like attention, but I'm not going to be that person that begs for it, or the person that, and I'm a pretty loud person, to be honest, but I'm not going to ever like be the coach's pet, and I'm never going to be the teacher's pet. Like I didn't want to be that type of person. And I think that's something that I used to struggle with, was like, I feel like I'm working harder than somebody else that gets praised. And it was always me comparing myself to other people. And it sucks when you don't get recognition. It really fucking sucks. And I've been there. And that was the thing I think I hated most in my sport, was just not getting recognition. Recognition. When you start to say a word over and over again, and you can't say it anymore. Synonyms for recognition. I still can't say it. Acknowledgement. When I wouldn't get the acknowledgement that I thought I needed and thought that I deserved, I would get fucking pissed, and I get so mad, and I would feel like I wasn't worthy enough. So my question to myself would be, can I get to the point where I don't need to be acknowledged for my hard work and be okay, and know for myself that I'm working my ass off? Can I be okay with that? And I think that I want to answer yes. I want to be like,
yes, I've gotten to that point because now I'm so confident and secure. I'm going to work my ass off all the time now.
I'm going to get into that gym and I don't need anybody else to tell me that I'm doing good or that it's going to be enough. Like I am the one, and that's the way that I'm going to get better. I'm the one going into the gym every single day and I'm working my ass off, don't need anybody, and I'm getting better. I feel so secure to go every day and show up for myself. When you could do it for yourself and you make yourself happy, that's how you're going to be happy in life. All right, so now I'm going to give you guys 3 tools to use. Tool number 1 is that, let's say that you are in practice and you say, if nobody was at this practice, how would I show up for myself? How do I want to show up for myself? And this is kind of like, I've been asking these questions to you guys this whole entire video, and that's kind of tool 1. It's just like asking yourself, what is my worth? Do I feel worthy enough to work hard for myself and to get better for myself so that I could have good results? And also, again, you guys, I said this at the beginning of the video, I don't want you to think that you get complimented and you can't feel any sort of way. 100% you should feel good when a compliment is given to you because you've worked for that compliment. That's great, but I don't want you to just only do things to work for compliments. I also want you to learn about yourself through the hard times and through adversity. And when you fail, when we fail is our greatest learning tool, and our learning lesson is that's how we could grow, is by failing. So I think it's okay that you're not always getting complimented, but are you okay with that? Ask yourself that question. Are you growing every day, just doing what you need to do and not thinking about anybody else and their opinion? Tool number 2 is going to be a question, but it's going to be for after practice, and it's going to be, how did I compete? Did I compete hard enough for myself? And that is just getting to know yourself, and that's just getting to understand yourself. Asking yourself questions is so important. I say this all the time. So if you could just after practice do a little evaluation and be like, did I push myself hard enough for me? Do I feel good when what I did? Do I feel worthy enough because I worked hard? I know for a fact that whenever I would work hard in practice and I felt like I got better, I felt like I had more confidence because I trusted myself, because I tried new things. I did make mistakes in practice, but I was working hard. I was going 100%. And now I could have a bigger capacity for the abilities that I could do. And then for tool number 3, whenever you are catching yourself looking for approval. So this could be things like,
is coach noticing me? Is the crowd noticing me? Are my teammates noticing me?
Or things like that. Like any sort of time where you're like, okay, wait, am I thinking about getting validated by other people? And like, am I thinking from an outside perspective instead of my own? I want you to notice it. Noticing it is honestly the hardest thing, but no, that's not the hardest thing, but it is something that we miss. We don't know that we do these certain things. And so now once you notice it, then I want you to pause, notice it, know it's happening, accept that it's happening. It's okay. You can't take it back now. You already were thinking that way. Now we're just going to practice by bringing our attention back and being present and competing and making sure that you're just fucking competing. The athlete that needs the least amount of validation will perform the most free. Stop trying to convince everybody that you're good enough. Start trying to prove that you could trust yourself. That's all that really matters when you're playing a sport, and that's all that matters when you're building your confidence. But that's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank yourselves for listening. I'm so proud of you for sitting here. Hopefully you guys sat through this whole entire video, and I hope that these tools helped you in some sort of way. I hope that any part of this video helps you in some sort of way. Don't forget to go check out my website. I have so many free offerings, and I also have some courses coming out, and I am working really hard on them. They're going to be so good, and they're going to include so much of what you guys want, because I know you guys want these things. I read what you guys say to me. I listen to my athletes that I do one-on-one coaching with, what you guys want. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, that's all that I have to say, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.